Justice Stephen Isaacs has passed. Good evening, Bahamas. I'm Altaviz Munnings. Welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, first at 6. Thanks for joining us tonight. The Cabinet Office issued a statement on the passing of Chief Justice the Honorable Stephen Gerard Isaacs, who died at 11 o'clock this morning at Doctors Hospital. We can tell you that the government is extending sincere condolences to his children, Stephen Jr. and Capri, his extended family, colleagues, and friends. Chief Justice Isaacs commenced his judicial career in 1994 when he was appointed Assistant Supreme Court Registrar. During an illustrious career, Justice Isaacs served as Court of Appeal Registrar as well as on the Industrial Tribunal, before being appointed to the higher judiciary as a Supreme Court Justice in September 2002. In 2015, he was promoted to Senior Justice of the Supreme Court, and in December 2017 was appointed Acting Chief Justice. He was confirmed to the substantive post of Chief Justice by the Governor General on July 9th and sworn in to the post on August 10th.
I, Stephen Isaacs, do swear that I will well and truly serve Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, her heirs and successors, in the office of Chief Justice, and will do right to all manner of people, so help me God.
Now, exactly 14 days ago, Justice Isaacs officially took top post during the ceremony at Government House. It came after months of speculation and calls for him to be appointed to the substantive post of Chief Justice. The post became vacant as former Chief Justice Sir Hartman Longley was elevated to the post of President of the Court of Appeal. After receiving his instruments of appointment, Isaacs talked about the challenges they face with the court's case load.
Civil judges that are left, they are swamped with those 1,500, 1,700, 1,900 cases that get piled into the system each year. That is something we have to look at. We've been looking at it. We keep looking at it. And we try to distribute the cases a little more evenly. I have the criminal judges hear some civil matters. That's as far as we've gotten so far.
Now, as word spread of the news of the Chief Justice's passing, ZNS News went to the court complex downtown, where he spent most of his days. Arvon Aubrey tells us that the proceedings were put off today in honor of the senior judge.
Here at the Supreme Court complex, it's a very sad day with the passing of the Chief Justice, Stephen Isaacs. With me is the Deputy Registrar, Constance Delancey. Tell us, how are things around here?
Well, the atmosphere is very somber here at the Supreme Court. Understandably, the staff are very distraught and upset over the sudden news of the passing of our Chief Justice, having only been installed as Chief Justice 2 weeks ago. We were very excited to start this new era in the judiciary, and to learn this morning that he's passed away, it's been very traumatic for the staff.
One of his concerns was the backlog. Tell us about the workload and his view on the job that he had to do as Chief Justice.
As Chief Justice, he took a very practical approach towards the issue of backlog, and we had already started coming up with a plan in terms of how to tackle that very aggressively. As you know, we have 10 of our judges here in New Providence alone assigned to the criminal side, and about 6 judges assigned to the civil side. We have just gotten 1 new judge assigned, as we'd lost 1 to retirement. And so one of the things that was on his agenda was coming up with ways to deal with that. We've taken very progressive steps during his short tenure, even as in the acting capacity, to deal with that. We have installed audio-digital in some of the courts, moving towards that in terms of speeding up getting transcripts ready for certain matters. And we were looking at ways to educate and update the knowledge of our staff. We're also conscious of continued training for our judges and our registrars and our magistrates, and that was very high on his agenda.
What was his strength?
His practical approach to law. He knew that he was dealing with the average person. He treated them with dignity and respect. He knew every member of staff's name, from the last custodian to come in the door up to every judge who was here. He knew them personally, and he made you feel personally welcome. The staff knew that they could go to the Chief Justice and they could approach him, and he would be able to communicate with them, not talking down to them, but talking to them in a way that they felt important.
Big shoes to fill?
Huge shoes to fill. You're talking about a person who was well loved when he was our registrar, as he came into the system years ago, worked his way up to judge. You remember he served here and in Grand Bahama. So he's left a rich legacy and enormous shoes to fill, I must say.
Big shoes to fill. And I imagine that post will have to be filled sometime soon. We don't know what the process is going forward, but at this time, we mourn the passing of the Chief Justice, Stephen Isaacs. I am Vaughn Albury, ZNS Network News.
Also remembering her boss was Cecilia Davis, who worked with Justice Isaacs for 34 years.
I will miss his kind words, encouraging words. He loved to encourage you to do better. He loved to, even if things is not going the way it's planned, he say, deal with it, get it done, make sure everything is okay. If the person doesn't comply, he'll say, you get back to me and I will talk to the person. That's the type of person he was.